are back across space and time, here again, diving deep into the realms of the great beyond and unknown, into strange new worlds, if you will. And with us this week again is Admiral Annie and Grand Admiral Jason. Excuse me, sir. I didn't
myself, yes.
realize you were up so high. And of course,
he knows people in higher places clearly.
Apparently so, yeah.
I will catch Ezra Bridger.
Wrong podcast, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah. And with us this week for the second time, Admiral Annie, we're so glad to have you. Grand Admiral Jason, we're so glad to have you as well. And of course, my dear compadre, Lieutenant Jason, back from the dead. I saw there was red in your shirt and you had popped off.
Yeah, there's a bit of Romulan Vulcan in me.
Apparently.
What's the last show to get that joke?
Yeah. So make sure you watch that one. We're glad to have you back in as well. Just
look, before we go into the ups and downs, I'm just going to put it out there straight away as you get prepped for the episode's summary there, Joe. I think this is one of the finest first episodes of Star Trek I've ever seen. I personally, for the first episode, and I looked at it, I thought about, and I love Emissary, which probably was my pinnacle before that for Deep Space Nine. And I love the first ep of Next Generation, Encounter at Farpoint. Voyager's first ep I wasn't always blown away with, but they were my two watermarks. Not including the OG Star Trek, which I think is actually gets stronger, I think, in the first season. But this, I got to say, I cried at one point. I had tears at one point.
Yep.
Wow.
And for a cynical, hardened individual myself to actually get emotional in this was, my wife was like, why am I still married to you at this point?
Wow.
No. She was
just like what my wife.
I'm being awful about my wife. She's a lovely person. No, it was just there was so much going on that I loved. And I just wanted to put that out there straight away. I think we should really put out our initial thoughts because I think we're probably all bursting to have something to say about.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump right into it. The episode summary.
Isn't the episode summary just somebody sitting in a chair in a Star Trek uniform going squee?
Captain Christopher Pike comes out of self-imposed exile to rescue an officer gone missing during a secret mission. This was a very fun episode, especially because the one Easter egg I finally caught an Easter egg without having to go on the internet and read about it, was the fact that on her telepatch she's Gorn. I was like, Gorn. I know that. So I was all about that. But I'm gonna pass the mic over to Admiral Annie and let's hear your thoughts. I know you're bursting at the seams to talk, so please.
Oh my gosh. So original series was not the first series that I watched. I watched Next Gen first. That's how I got into Star Trek. As a teenager, my freshman year of high school, had a guy who sat next to me in algebra class. We bonded. I was a nerd. I was bullied. I didn't have a lot of friends. And this guy didn't know any better. So we started talking. He introduced me to Next Gen, got me into Deep Space Nine. And I just started eating up everything to do with Star Trek. So huge nerd moment. I love that we have like a little tie-in to Discovery. Pardon me. Still getting over my pneumonia. I love that we get this little kind of secret window into Vulcan dating customs and like marriage customs.
That was so cool.
I was geeking
Sexy
out.
Vulcan time.
Yes.
I love that it's the woman asks the man. I mean, who knew, That was so cool and so interesting. And then I loved like the little bit of humor where they had, when Spock and T'Pring kiss and the guy's like, excuse me, like, you guys need to do that somewhere else, please. Like, that was
excellent idea.
So funny. That's a great
I
idea.
like cheeky Vulcans.
Idea. Yeah. I don't know. I love that we get to see T'Pring in a way that is much more outside of just like her divorce with Spock. basically.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Also, she is gorgeous. Okay, like I mean,
Yes.
okay, let's be honest.
Yes.
Every single person in this show is very good looking, but
Right.
oh my goodness, Gia Sandhu is stunning as
Yeah.
T'Krane. So
And she is such the casting is amazing because she looks just like the actress who held the role.
Yes.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, they did a
100%.
really good job. And I think
they did a
I believe-
great job.
Yeah, and I believe this actor looks more like Leonard Nimoy, more so than
Zachary
friend.
Quinto.
Zachary Quinto. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like he looked more like Spock. His name's Ethan Peck. I felt like Ethan Peck has more features that kind of resemble young Spock from the '60s show.
Yeah,
So
I feel
I
like
found
we
that to
see a
be
lot of
excellent
Leonard
acting.
Nimoy. I see a lot of Leonard Nimoy in his mannerisms and his acting. I feel like he really taps into Nimoy's Spock, which is awesome.
Right.
More pros, I feel like it had that like good old Trek feel, right? We have this episodic storytelling versus the entire season story arc, which I enjoy that in Discovery. I don't know how much I enjoyed that in Picard, but I love that about Strange New Worlds. I'm very excited that that's what we have now and that we're kind of getting back to that method of storytelling because I feel like that lends itself to Trek so well. Cons, gosh, there weren't very many. Maybe release more than one episode a week so that I can get my Trek fix. I really had nothing bad to say about it. I enjoyed every second of it, and the minute I finished, so like I said, I've been sick lately, and I work at a hospital. I start my shift at like 6:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. I stayed up until 1 my time in Utah to watch it when it uploaded.
It launched. Yes,
Plus.
I did the same thing.
I am not a night owl. I'm very much an early morning person. And I was like, I'm probably going to regret this, but it was so worth it. And the second I finished it, I went to sleep, woke up, and then before my shift, I watched it again just because I had so much fun with it. It was so good. I just loved it.
Yes. Before we get to Grand Admiral's take on it, let's have that beautiful imagery of pros and cons.
Oh, we kind of slipped in there, haven't we?
Yeah. I just love that.
That's cool.
Artwork. Admiral, please.
Well, we
Let
should
him
just
speak,
call this.
please.
We should just call this pros. I mean, there were no cons as far as I was concerned. It was not what I would call a cerebral adventure. There was nothing that was super deep about it in many ways, and I mean this as a complete positive. It reminded me of the first season of The Orville in that it was a self-contained, very enjoyable show. I think the cast has great chemistry together. They are all gorgeous, every single one of them. They bring my self-esteem down every time they're on. I've just fallen in love with these characters already. I don't know the actress's name, but she plays young Uhura. Whenever she calms that escaped alien down in the turbo lift just by talking to him,
Celia.
That was so masterful.
It was written so well. It was acted so well, and she just went into it just like, "Hi, oh yeah, this is where we have the captain of our team. Oh, you watch sports, don't you?" And he was just completely
tag ball.
Tag ball. That's it. Yes. And Ethan Peck is a marvelous Mr. Spock. I almost called him Mr. Scott. But I have to show that off because
nice.
He's every bit as awesome. Him and Anson Mount. Anson Mount's hair is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just you can just stare at it. Just
when the rest of this goes fully gray, I hope
part in the cast. Starring Anson Mount and featuring Anson Mount's hair.
It's really a tribble on his head.
That's right.
I love the character of Laan Noonien Singh. I just enjoyed the actress, and it took me forever to figure out where I'd seen her from. But wasn't she on The Expanse? Or am I just crazy? Probably both.
You're right.
Maybe?
I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah, but
Christina.
I have nothing. Oh my gosh, Mbenga in Chapel.
And she was in Doctor Who.
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
In Johnny English.
Yeah. Mbenga and Chapel, their scenes were just incredible. I love Chapel and I love Mbenga. I just love everybody. There's no weak links in this show. And we got a 100% canon what do you call it? The one nacelled starship. I usually know these, but it just disappeared out of my
the
head.
steam runner types. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a Saladin class. We finally got a 100% canon Saladin class, and it still looks stupid. It looks like a saucer trying to ride a skateboard, and that little cutout through the neck makes it look even worse. But now it's got legs.
It's so funny you mentioned that, Admiral Jason, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be in a future rating the Star Trek starships on your." It was
on that night because I had thoughts.
Wow, look at that! So I got to go back to my TikTok. I was off TikTok because I didn't want any Doctor Strange spoilers, so I had to cut myself off social media. You guys, you and Brandon are the only people I've spoken to all day because I don't want it to be ruined. So, such a great episode. I really want to hear from Lieutenant Jason, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Why I've had to put it out there that I think it's one of the finest episodes is because it is a simplistic storyline. It's in the fact that, you know, we tie things together from the captain, what he's emotionally dealing with. And it locked me in straight away, knowing, and I had known this at this point, that he's foreseen his own death. He knows the end date and the emotion around that. A very simple detail that pays off so well at the end, and why it was so emotional when he comes in and does the speech to the alien races about that. Tying that in was just so expertly done. We introduced the main characters without overdoing it. Like right at the end of the episode, we see more characters being, brought in. So teasing the fact that we're going to find out about them. It was just, we talked about Akiva Goldsmith in the last episode, but hats off to him for writing an excellent first episode of a TV show. It just set up so well. And why it's so good too is because it's that Star Trek for the first time in decades, as far as I'm concerned, have created an easy entry point for people who are not normally into Star Trek. I think you can come into this episode and be introduced and not feel intimidated. I think some of the best things about Star Trek too is their storylines, like the basis of their storylines, good Star Trek is not over complex. The complexity comes with the techno babble and the characters and all that. And they've done this with this episode. It's harkened back to some of those great episodes of Star Trek that we all love. So it's just, not only, as you guys have said, the cast is exceptional. They've written a great first episode. They've set up a universe that I think not only is going to satisfy us fans, but I think is going to get more people in. So I think all I hope for now is moving forward without going to a future speculation is they keep that concept going, because it's just, I can't gush about this episode of, like you, I've watched it twice, and I was a bit annoyed this morning. I didn't go up early enough to watch it a third time. That's how much I loved it.
Wow.
I would like to expand on something you said there, Jason, and both Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Prodigy are amazing entry points. I teach 4th grade, and I have had so many students, because I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I'm always using Star Trek as like examples in class. They'll come up to me and they say, "Did you know there's a cartoon? I watched it, and now I'm going to watch every week because I really like it." Aww. And I just, it's just so great, and it's an amazing business plan, really, because I don't think that enough people are talking about how great the Paramount Plus business plan is, that they're giving entry points to get the new fans, and they're giving us things like Picard and all these other shows to satisfy the old timers like us.
Yeah.
100%. I actually hadn't thought about Prodigy, but you're 100% right. Yeah, that is a great entry point for young people to get into.
Have you watched Prodigy, Lieutenant?
I've watched now 3 episodes. I haven't watched the rest because I don't know why.
We've been watching.
I feel great shame around that.
I know.
But I will.
So you haven't made it to the holodeck episode yet.
No.
No.
Yeah, you got
okay.
Tears
I have
in the
to
eyes.
watch it today, don't I?
In the
You
eyes.
just said the holodeck episode.
Yeah, you're gonna definitely.
That
one's
it gets you in the feels.
Yeah, it's great show. But I have to piggyback on what a lot of you have said. This cast is fantastic. Even the Doctor, with the morphing of the faces. His name, it's the doctor. He was in Dune, actually. Dr. Mbenga.
Dr.
Mbenga, yes. What a fantastic way to bring him about was to, okay, we're going to have to modify you for first contact. And watching how that played out with Spock's face literally hurting himself to try to
that
maintain.
was a great throwback to the Search for Spock when he's changing with the planet and he's like, oh, and you see his face like undulating and changing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, like we're getting that moment again. Like this is so cool, like little Easter egg almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Spock had so many he's had so many iconic lines throughout, the years, live long and prosper. I have been and always shall be your friend. And now we have, where are my pants?
Yeah. Where are my pants? Yes. But I also enjoyed the clashing number ones, the rescue number one and the captured number one. And I felt that the dialogue between Captain Pike and Rebecca Monet number one, and then even the other woman who's now the security officer,
La'an and Una.
Yeah, La'an and Una. Yes, thank you. I just felt that was such a stellar way to bring them together and for the reunion of the characters and even the conflict. It kind of touched on the issues that we're facing here. We've seen these great technologies, but we're using it for weapons because we haven't developed enough, and we had to go through the Second Civil War, and then World War III, and then the
that was emotional.
Yeah,
big time,
very emotional.
So I felt that they really hit the right marks, and they checked every box for this episode. They tackled social issues. They tackled, kind of prejudices because you have the two warring species on the one planet. I really think they went above and beyond on this episode, and I can't wait to go through every episode and see what we're getting next week. Thursday is going to be my favorite day of the week.
Seriously.
Yeah. I really feel like they spent time writing the script, though. It really feels like that this script was worked on because there's not a wasted second.
No.
Everything
very efficient, yes.
Every detail is
very
valuable.
efficient, and that takes time,
There is no fluff.
Writers to do that.
No fluff. And that's going to bring us to future speculations. A nice glass of Kanar. So we're gonna go into a very big, expansive universe, and we're gonna get. I'm not sure about how many episodes that they're gonna have.
10, I believe.
They're gonna remain with 10.
Yeah.
Oh
boy. I think so.
Yeah. So we're gonna have.
That's disappointing. I want 22.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more.
This is going to be a hard segment to continue, though. Really, if you think about it, if there's standalone episodes, how do we speculate?
Well, I mean,
we could really only speculate on the characters, can't we?
Yeah.
Right.
Like we haven't been introduced to the Andorian yet. We haven't been introduced to any type of other species like Klingons and Romulans and things like that. We probably won't get Romulans because Romulans were locked off during that time.
Yep.
But we're in that realm where Klingons are human-esque. So that's going to be interesting. Where are they going to have
good for the budget?
Yeah, good for the budget.
Yeah.
How are their costumes going to be? What's their uniform going to be? Are they going to be in that gold with the silver band, or are they going to be like something else? I'm very excited to see where it goes, and what I can speculate based off that Easter egg and based off some of the issues that they've been discussing about the Gorn species, that we're going to have some type of big conflict with them. Because as far as I can recall, my favorite Star Trek is Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation. So TOS and Voyager and Enterprise are all tied for the next spot because I love them all. But it's going to be interesting to get into a species where we've had a prosthetic lizard running around fighting William Shatner, and now we're in this great
slowly fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slowly. So we have an amazing opportunity to really get into a species that we know very little about, because as far as I know, there really wasn't much with that species.
I think
Again,
they've only made two
episodes.
appearances. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an opportunity to get into a species that we really didn't spend much time with. And I believe in the clip for next week, I saw a Nausicaan, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another species. Yeah, I believe so. I could be wrong. I don't want to, but if I'm right, because the Nausicaans have been around since the original series. So that's another species. So we're probably going to find out more about the different species that we've known, but we didn't really spend too much time in. So that's
a lot of
my
backstories, I
speculation.
would suggest.
Yeah. So that's my
what I'm interested in is the dynamic between number one and the captain moving forward, because I don't know what you guys think, but I do feel like we're swapping it out from Next Generation, where I feel like number one is the more centered, sensible, intellectual, and the captain is your rogue, your adventurer, your like risk it type of thing. So to me, as a future speculation with the cast, it's going to be really great, because they totally respect each other, but they're diametrically opposed even early on from my perspective and how they'll approach things. So
right.
They're so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rebecca Romaine as number one was just a great casting point for me, because I'm used to seeing her as Mystique in X-Men.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So having her out of all that makeup and everything and showing her capabilities as an actress is going to be fantastic. As Una, she did so good. Limping out of the capture, it's just going to be so much wondrous things to unpack. Grand Admiral, do you have anything that you want to speculate before we go?
Speculation. Well, it's tough with this one. I mean, I do think that at some point or another we're going to see the Gorn. I think that I think a certain subset of the fans are going to go crazy because they're going to say, no, the first contact was in that Star Trek episode with Kirk. But you know what? I don't really care if they blow canon to tell a good story. I don't care. I would love to see the Klingons show up, and it's always been my headcanon moment that, I would love to see Pike going through like pictures of the Klingon High Command and have like the Discovery era Klingons, and then they show up and they're smooth headed.
Yeah.
And Pike just kind of goes, what happened to, and the Klingon just goes, don't ask.
We don't talk about
we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
I don't know. They've thrown a lot of balls in the air, but unlike, and I'm not bad-mouthing Discovery or Picard because I really do genuinely enjoy those shows, but I feel like they toss a lot of balls in the air, and my first thought is, oh no, what are they going to do? With this one, I'm like, oh boy, what are they going to do? Sam Kirk, awesome. What are they going to do with him? There's Himmer. What's he going to do?
Yeah,
I'm excited. And I'm feeling an excitement that I haven't really felt in a very long time because, every adventure is new every week, and we get a beginning, middle, and end, and then we move on to something new, and I love that. I think it's great. It's a welcome change of pace, and I like Discovery, I like Picard, but this feels it's the old is new again. So I like it. I like it.
And how about Admiral Robert April, the original captain of the Enterprise?
Yes,
coming out. I thought that was fantastic. A nice throwback. If you ever watched the original Star Trek cartoon, he made an appearance on that too. So it was nice to have a full circle there. But Admiral Annie, what do you believe? Future speculation. What do we have in store for us in the old telly?
Right in all the previews, which I have watched, like everything that Paramount Plus has released on this, ravenously. I've seen a Tholian web, so very interested to see where that goes.
I forgot about the Tholians.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Pardon me.
So
excited, right? We've got Laan Noonien Singh, so I'm like, are we gonna get like Khan up in there? Like, what's happening with that?
Yeah.
We have this whole Spock to Pring storyline happening kind of in the
Mhm.
background, which I'm super stoked about because
They're
I
so
mean,
cute.
they're, oh my gosh, they're adorable. And I feel like I mean, you always think about Spock as this like stoic, like knows what he wants character. Well, I feel like she knows what she wants too. So I'm very excited to kind of see what their dynamic will be like, knowing kind of how it ends in the original series.
We had a
not
pretty
well
good
for
idea what she
Spock,
wanted in
so-
this episode.
Yeah, right.
Had kind of a
I know.
Spock block going on right there.
Yeah.
Also, absolutely hilarious line when Spock picks up and he's like, "Are you naked?" I'm like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
And it was almost like you could almost see the wheels turning for T'Pring, and she was probably about to be like, "He was about to be, but you just ruined that."
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to see more of them. I mean, I know we've seen some previews where T'Pring visits the ship, and it looks like they're doing some kind of like meditation thing where they're touching each other's foreheads. I see some kissing, whatever. I'm just very interested to see what they do with T'Pring as a character because we got to see her once in the original series, so I want to see more.
Yeah. Actually, I want to share something here, guys. Just something. So if we're talking about future speculation, I'm just going to see if we can't bring this up. These are the episode titles for the next 5 shows. So,
10 episodes.
So here we go. Episode 2, and there's no details around it except the titles. So we've got Children of the Comet, which who knows, but sounds great. Gives me the feeling of old Star Trek. We got the Ghost of I can't even pronounce Illyria. My Australian accent.
Illyria?
Illyria. Yeah, we'll have
I think Illyria.
We'll have the teacher explain that.
Yeah. Let me zoom in a bit more. Episode 4 is Memento Mori. But episode 5, look at
Spock
that.
Amok.
I guess we know
That
why
lot.
T'Pring's coming to the Enterprise, don't we?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, we did see
that
that little preview of Spock wielding a lirpa in like the sacred sands on Mount Seleia, so that will be interesting to see.
And while you were showing those episode titles, I did a little bit of Googling because I thought Illyrian sounded familiar. That is the species that Archer stole the warp core from in the 3rd season of Star Trek Enterprise. So I'm kind of wondering if there might be a little tie-in right there. Maybe they're,
a nice cameo
to us about 100 years ago.
Oh, it'd be nice if there's a cameo. Maybe Scott Bakula, even if it's just a hologram or something.
That would be so
I'd
cool.
be happy with that.
Yeah. Oh man, so much to unpack, so much to watch, so much excitement. And I'm here for every second of it, just like you are, because we're all Star Trek fans. We love what's coming, and we're so happy that our beloved sci-fi expansion is back. And back to its former glory, no less. So I can't wait to share this all with you guys. Yeah.
I would argue it's like bigger than its former glory right now because it's got
it has to be, doesn't it?
Never-ending content right now.
Yeah.
Well, you got Picard, you've got Strange New Worlds, you've got Discovery, you've got Prodigy, you've got Lower Decks, and then forthcoming you've got Section 31.
Yeah,
that's official with Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I've heard that there might be a Starfleet Academy show.
Yes, I've heard that as well. That it's going to feature Mary Wiseman.
Yeah.
Wow.
From Discovery, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of Star Trek. So we're
we're going
to have a lot of fun.
I don't think we'll get them all at once, though. I think we'll have to have some of the other shows tie up.
Yeah.
Like how much longer does Discovery have in reality? I mean, are we going to traditional 7 seasons, or are we just?
I would be disappointed if they don't. I know Discovery has its problems, but I would be. I didn't really care for Enterprise that much, but I was disappointed that it only went 4 seasons. So I want.
Yeah, I think everybody was
a full ride.
Yeah. What's they just wrapped up 4 or 5? 4?
4, but they have confirmed 5 is coming. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're a fan of Arrival, that last season was amazing. If you're an Arrival fan, they did a really good job with that whole story arc. It's just depending on your perspective, but that's another show.
It was very cool.
It was. I thought so. So that's going to wrap it up, I think, for this first episode of Captain's Quadrant for Strange New Worlds. Thank you for joining us, Admirals Annie and Grand Admiral Jason. You guys are amazing. I appreciate every moment that you come to share your love of Star Trek and space adventure with us in the
Always a
Captain's
pleasure.
Quadrant. Thank you. Thank you. And Lieutenant, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode.
I
Unless
made
you
it
have-
through the episode without the
Yes, you
internet
did.
gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
It's nice.
bringing down
It's
their
nice.
wrath on me.
It's nice to have you all the way through this time.
Yeah,
No resurrection needed. No resurrection needed.
I am on the other side of the planet. We've got to remember that. I am
Yeah,
literally
that's
on
true.
the other side of the planet.
Literally in Australia, yeah, no less. So this
Yeah.
is it's so fun to bring everybody from space and time. We got Admiral Annie, who's on the other side of the United States, closer to Grand Admiral Jason, who's on the other side of the States, and I'm in sunny New Jersey on the east side of the United States. So we really triangulate space and time to bring you Captain's
yeah.
Quadrant.
That's right.
So thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching this episode of Captain Quadrant. We'll be back next week. And until then, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
See you guys.